Welcome to the Bearcat Beat on LSPN, where each week we share conversations about everything that makes Sherman ISD athletics so great. I'm your host, Chris Daly. Sherman Bearcat Athletics represent the heart and soul of our community, where champions are made both on the field and in the classroom. Our student athletes embody the Bearcat spirit through dedication, perseverance, and excellence, creating memories and building character that will last a lifetime. Remember, it's better to be a Bearcat. This is just one of the many amazing things that the Booster Club accomplishes throughout the year for all sports. If you're interested in joining the Sherman Athletic Booster Club, or if you want to purchase some merchandise to show your Sherman Bearcat love, you can visit the website at shermanisd.net under the Athletics tab. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bearcat Beat. I'm Chris Daly, and today I am joined by the new head football coach, Efrain Ramos. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm awesome. I'm great. I'm getting in the full swing of things and getting to work with the kids and in a football environment, and so we're getting after it in the mornings, and so I feel like my feet are starting to get a little wet and getting my feet in the mud, and so I'm having a good time.
So what's your first, reaction to being a Bearcat?
Well, I mean, it's one day you're wearing the colors that you were wearing on Friday, and then by Monday, I'm full blown maroon and white, and I'm a Bearcat. So, it's happened quick and it's swift, but just at the other place, I'd probably be doing the same things that I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So, anytime I get to get around the kids and be around the young ones, I'm in my element. So that helped, in that I was able to do that pretty quickly. There was no waiting, there was no delay. We got right into it. The kids have been really receptive. The coaches that I'm working with and got to meet and be around were very receptive to me, and it's been a great experience so far.
Sweet. And so give us a little bit about your background. I know you've probably answered this to 100 people, growing up in Plainview, becoming a coach. Give me your background.
Well, I was, a family that was very important to me, very influential in my life, especially my career, was the Parr family. And so I played for Steve Parr in high school. And, so coming out of college or going while I was in college, we worked, me and his son, Seth Parr, who I worked for a very long time, worked strength and conditioning camps. And so that aspect of athletics and going into coaching is something that I knew that I was going to do just right out of high school and even before that. So my background is athletics, and I feel like I've been doing it for a long time, and it's my area of expertise. But I did work in Amarillo,
Mhm.
Texas. That was where I got my first few jobs. Then we moved to Lubbock, and I was at Lubbock Coronado. Then got to spend some time in Anna, and we won a state championship there. That was a big highlight in my career as a defensive coordinator. And then I've got my opportunity to be a head football coach and athletic director at Lamesa, and Coach Ritchie, David Ritchie, who was the superintendent at the time, took a chance and gave me an opportunity to go in, and we've had a lot of success, or some success that they hadn't experienced in a very long time. And so the bond that I was able to build with the kids that I worked with there and the community members that I got to spend a lot of time with was a great experience for me, and they're very near and dear to my heart. And I miss those kids, but I know I'm in a good place, and we're going to do similar things, and whatever the best that we can accomplish here in Sherman, Texas, is what I'm out to do.
I love that. And talk to me about that Anna team, because I know to become state champs, it is a huge deal. It takes a lot of things going right. But what did you see different with that team from some of the other teams?
Well, when we got there, we were pretty excited, and we sent out some things saying, "All right, here we come. It's time to go. This is a new era." And some of the people that were around the area had told us, slow it down. You don't want to say those kinds of things with Salina looking right at you, and so they said, there's state championship talent all around us, and that's just not what Anna's been. It's not Anna, and so to take us from that point and take them from that mindset to it being what it is now and what we were able to turn it into, is something that, I really, it's built a strong belief in the program that Coach Parr had built that I'd been a part of for a long time and stuff that I still do. So my experience there, it was very similar to everything else is, you know, don't worry about what they're going to say, or don't worry, period. Just get to work
Yeah.
and, let a good day's work speak for itself, and just do things the right way, and, create a culture of hard work and winning, and eventually the outcome is what it is. And in Anna, in the case of Anna, it was, the very best that we could do, and it was a state championship. So the kids I got to work with there, great kids, great community members. As soon as I got this job, I had so many people from Anna reach out to me and congratulate me, and all those parents that I worked with. And so that was a special time there. So it's good to be back here in North Texas.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned mindset, you mentioned culture. That is so important uh, to get the kids to believe they can be winners. And how do you instill that in them?
Routines, structures, and consistency, being available to them, having trust that, building the trust in them, letting them know that, when they want to be up here, or it's time for them to work, that I'm going to be available to them. And, I'm going to be here, in the summer. We're going to be here in the fall. We're going to continue to do this. They're going to see a lot of me. And so building that trust, and then having a positive relationship that follows with that, where they know that our goals and what we want to do here in Sherman is not just talk, but actions that we're going to do every day.
Yeah, definitely. Um, and, coming to Sherman, you're going to be part of probably the greatest high school football rivalry in history, Sherman Denison. If you could talk about what you've learned about rivalries themselves and how important those are.
Well, I've seen the axe, and I've seen pictures of it. It's very beautiful. Looks nice. I like the way it crosses at the top. You got the two axes stacked on top of each other. Seen a lot of pictures. Got an idea what it looks like now. Just want to get my hands on it. And so I know that is going to be a big game. It's one that's important to everybody in the community here in Sherman. It's a big deal to Denison. And so when I think of the type of football games that I want to be in and coach in and be a part of, that's the dream to be in those situations. So for our community to think to feel that way about football, and for us to start the year off with something that's so important, is going to be a great way to set the tone. Now, if we go out there and we take care of our business and we play as hard as we play, we're going to live with the outcome. But I'm hoping that that outcome is going to be a win, and we're going to get the Axe back here in Sherman, Texas.
I love that. And you talk about, setting the scene, starting the season off right. Um, Football itself sort of sets the scene for all sports at the school. Uh, what is your relationship with the new coaches? Have you met them? Because like I said, you're kind of leading the charge.
Yes, sir. From what I've seen, we've got a great staff that was here, and I give a lot of credit and to Coach Alamon, who did a great job of building great relationship with coaches, bringing in an outstanding staff. The kids listen well, so I know what we do is a hard job. I know that what you've got so many things that got to happen, that got to go your way, and sometimes it does, and then sometimes it doesn't. And and I think any of us are going to be in that position, or could be in that position. So I respect what all coaches do. Definitely respect the fact that he came in and did the best that he could for these kids, and the response that I've had, and the kids that I'm working with, he did a good job with them with
Mhm.
that. So I just think that. Um, the coaches here work really hard. I've appointed a defensive coordinator that I hired from within. Jeff Richters is now going to be our defensive coordinator. He's got a lot of experience of being defensive coordinator, has a lot of success, and so he's going to take over as a defensive coordinator. I'm bringing in two guys from staffs that I've worked with before, with Clay Keith and Diamond Hughes, who are both experts in the air raid offense that we've run it, or at least how we run it. So my interaction with every coach in Sherman, with the athletic director, Alan Dougal, have been nothing but receptive, positive, and they're very supportive of me, and can kind of see, the vision that I'm wanting to bring and what I'm wanting to do. And I think we're all excited about, what's to come here.
Excellent. And I was going to ask you about style of game. I heard you drop air raid there. So
Yes,
so
sir.
let's talk about what your style is going to be.
Well, we're an air raid offense, and the reputation of the air raid is that we're going to throw it. If we're running 70 plays in a game, we're going to try to run 70, 80, 90 plays in a game. But
Yep.
if we run 70 plays in a game, we're probably going to throw it right around 60 or so. But at the same time, I have a strong belief in technique and fundamentals, and I think when you have really good football players, doesn't matter what scheme you run,
Hmm.
you're going to be successful at it. But we've had a lot of success in this offense. We've had a lot of offensive production at every place that we've ever stopped, even in a small 3A school that you're limited with numbers and stuff like that. We were able to have a lot of success throwing the football and running our offense the way that we want to run it. So it's one that I strongly believe in. Coached in it for over 20 years. We spent a lot of time, me and Coach Parr, either arguing over stuff or agreeing over stuff. I'd like to say we agreed a lot, but he probably disagreed with me about that as well. But it took a long time to develop what we did. But the one thing that we were able to do is, whatever it is that our kids are going to be successful in within that system, we're going to figure out how to do that. And it's been really good to us.
Excellent. And I know the answer to this one, but some people may not. Talk about what attracted you to this job.
Well, you got to look at the investment that the community and the school district is making to athletics. And, when you look at the renovations to the stadium, there's a seriousness about it. And there's a real commitment to, giving our kids a first class setting, first class environment where, one that they're going to be proud of and one that the community is going to be proud of. But, I know that they're going to want some wins to go with that.
Yeah.
So I know they're looking for success. They want to win. They want to be good in athletics. And if you look at all of our facilities in every sport, we're doing things to give our kids great experiences in athletics. So that attracts me that we're very committed to that. And I know that for them to dig way deep and to find somebody out way out in La Mesa, Texas, that, I've had some success in Anna, but I was in La Mesa, and they're
Mhm.
willing to give that phone call and do whatever it takes, uncover every stone to
Yep.
try to find somebody that's a known winner. And my success and my reputation or success that I've had in my career, that they're serious about winning. And so I think we're like-minded in that capacity, and that's why I'm here.
Love that. And talk about the kids and parents. You haven't been there very long. How connected are you with them already, and what more remains there?
Well, I'm still learning some names and faces, but I
Yeah.
definitely know their faces more than their names. And we're getting early. They've already our athletic period is at the beginning of the day, so we come in just about an hour before school and work through the period. So a routine has already been set up by the coaches that were already here to get kids, and I've seen us make a lot of progress. We're probably not where we would be, but if the changes hadn't have had taken place, but we're ahead of where we should be in the amount of time that I've been here. So a lot goes into the strength building that we have with Coach Wilkerson. He's our strength coordinator. Does a great job in the weight room. All the coaches that are coming out and working the football skill, and I'm implementing my system. The kids are receptive, very coachable, and we're moving along pretty quick. So my experience with the kids and everything else is it's going really good and really ahead of schedule. Given how late it is in the year.
Awesome. And what will the end of the school year look like? What do you have to accomplish still? And then let's talk about the summer, what that looks like.
Well, just them knowing what to expect when they come out and practice, getting our routines and structures in, and getting our core values. How we're transitioning from place to place, what time to report. What I want a practice to look like and sound like, what we're doing in that practice, learning my buzzwords and techniques and fundamentals. getting all the groundworks for all that to get going. And then that's where we want to be by the end of May. And so however far along we are in that, I'm going to take it. But, given how it's going, we're moving along pretty good. In the summer, we'll break it up where we have strength conditioning with two different groups. We're bringing the O-line at one time and O-line and D-line, and they'll have, time devoted to them to work their agility, their speed, strength training, and then we'll do our drills and skills that are football related. And so they'll go from about 7 to about 9 to 9:30, and then we bring in the skill positions at 9 o'clock, where we'll do the same thing. So they'll work weightlifting. We'll lift weights. We'll work some speed and agility stuff that are general athletic mobility, which is strength conditioning. And then we work sports specific stuff where we're, getting a practice installed of what they can expect in the fall. We're going to try to get as close to that without any contact or anything in the summer, but just what the practice and the structure should look like, both offensively and defensively.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Coach Ramos, gosh, welcome to Sherman. And I'm looking forward to seeing where you take the Bearcats. And thank you so much for sitting down with me here.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I want to thank you for listening to the Bearcat Beat. Each week throughout the school year, you will hear all sorts of great information about all the athletic programs at Sherman ISD. Please do us a favor, like, share, comment, do whatever you can to help us reach more Bearcat fans.
Hey Coach, Lone Star Gridiron has been the leader in Coach's Show podcasts for 20 years, and now you can get your own Coach's Show podcast each week during the season as a fundraiser for your booster club. Yes, booster clubs all over are using these podcasts to help their sports programs. You get to share the stories of your program and your kids to a huge audience and make money. We started with just football, but this year have expanded to make them available for all sports. Call 713-269-4620 to find out the details and get your Coach's Show started.